friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to study Kelvin cycle. We are studying dark reaction and we have completed 4 parts. Please check my previous videos and then come to this video. This is part number 5. Okay, so let us study Kelvin cycle. So Kelvin cycle is dark reaction. It occurs in the dark reaction. No, we know that whenever an acid is reduced, it produces a sugar. Acid undergoes reduction and it produces a sugar, and sugar has an alcohol group in it. Acid undergoes reduction, it produces sugar, and sugar has an alcohol group in it. Similarly, in Kelvin cycle, carbon dioxide undergoes reduction to form glucose. Carbon dioxide, see, hydrogen is added to carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, it undergoes reduction to produce glucose. So in Kelvin cycle, reduction reaction takes place. Carbon dioxide undergoes reduction to produce glucose. Now, dark reaction uses the byproduct of light reaction. What is the byproduct? NADPH. If you don't know light reaction, please check my previous videos. So the byproduct of light reaction is NADPH. Dark reaction or Kelvin cycle uses the byproduct of light reaction. NADPH has electrons in it. NADPH, it has electrons. Hello friends, let us study Kelvin cycle. Kelvin cycle in dark reaction. Let us see what is happening in the Kelvin cycle. So plants undergo Kelvin cycle to produce glucose. They reduce carbon dioxide into glucose, and glucose is the stored food in the plants which we eat, which animals eat. So glucose is the stored food. Let us see how plants produce glucose, how plants reduce carbon dioxide to produce glucose. Now, there is a 5-carbon sugar present, RUBP. RUBP is the 5-carbon sugar. The full form is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. RUBP is the 5-carbon sugar and the full form is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. It is a 5-carbon sugar. It accepts 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. RUBP combines with 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. RUBP is a 5-carbon sugar. It combines with 1 molecule of carbon dioxide and it produces 3 PGA. 3 PGA is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. RUBP combines with 1 molecule of carbon dioxide to produce 3 PGA. 3 PGA is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. RUBP is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. It is a 5-carbon sugar. It combines with 1 molecule of carbon dioxide to produce 3-phosphoglyceric acid, and 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid is produced. This is a 3-carbon compound. 3 PGA is a 3-carbon compound. RUBP was a 6-carbon compound. It is getting 1 carbon from carbon dioxide and it is producing a 3-carbon compound in which 2 molecules of 3 PGA are produced. This process in which RUBP combines with carbon dioxide is called carboxylation. Now, 3-phosphoglyceric acid is a 3-carbon compound, and this 3-carbon compound, it undergoes reduction. This 3-carbon compound, it undergoes reduction, that is 3-phosphoglyceric acid, it undergoes reduction, and while reducing it uses NADPH. NADPH breaks and it forms NADP plus. 2 molecules of NADPH, it breaks and it forms NADP plus. So when NADPH breaks, electrons are produced. These electrons are given to phosphoglyceric acid. It undergoes reduction and ATP is also utilized here. ATP breaks to form ADP plus phosphates. So energy is given to phosphoglyceric acid. Phosphoglyceric acid accepts the electrons and energy, and this phosphoglyceric acid, when a compound it accepts electrons, it undergoes reduction. It undergoes reduction and it forms triose phosphate. 3-phosphoglyceric acid, it undergoes reduction and it forms triose phosphate. During this step, NADPH is utilized by 3-phosphoglyceric acid. NADPH is the byproduct of light reaction. ATP is the byproduct of light reaction. NADPH converts into NADP plus 2 electrons, and these electrons are given to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. 2 molecules of NADPH are utilized. Similarly, ATP, it converts into ADP plus phosphate. Two molecules of ATP are utilized and the energy is given for this reaction, for this reduction reaction. Now, triose phosphate is produced, which is a 3-carbon sugar. Triose phosphate is produced, which is a 3-carbon sugar, and it forms glucose. Triose phosphate, it forms glucose, and this triose phosphate, it undergoes regeneration. Means it regenerates again ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, that is RUBP. Triose phosphate, which is a 3-carbon sugar, it again forms RUBP. It also forms glucose. So this process is called regeneration. Here ATP is utilized. ATP is required for this process. ATP is broken into ADP plus phosphate. So this process is called as Kelvin cycle. Once again I will tell you, RUBP, it combines, it accepts one molecule of carbon dioxide, and RUBP forms 3-phosphoglyceric acid. 3-phosphoglyceric acid, it undergoes reduction and it forms triose phosphate. Triose phosphate, it forms glucose, and it also undergoes regeneration of RUBP. This process takes place in a cycle, so it is known as Kelvin cycle or C3 cycle. C3 cycle because the first product is a 3-carbon compound. When RUBP combines with carbon dioxide, the first product is a 3-carbon compound. So it is known as C3 cycle and it is found in C3 plants. First step is known as carboxylation. The first step in Kelvin cycle is carboxylation. It is the initial carbon dioxide fixation. The first step of Kelvin cycle is carboxylation. It is the initial carbon dioxide fixation in which RUBP combines with carbon dioxide to form 2 molecules of phosphoglyceric acid. RUBP is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate combines with carbon dioxide to form 3-phosphoglyceric acid, 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid. RUBP combines with carbon dioxide to form 3-PGA, and this process takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. Carboxylation takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. The enzyme involved is Rubisco, and the enzyme which helps in this process is Rubisco, and this is the most abundant protein on the earth. Rubisco is the most abundant protein on the earth. So the first step of Kelvin cycle is carboxylation. It is initial carbon dioxide fixation where RUBP accepts carbon dioxide to form 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid, 3-PGA. This process takes place in the stroma and the enzyme involved is Rubisco. Of Kelvin cycle is reduction. Reduction, it is a endothermic process. Endothermic process is a process in which energy is spent. Endothermic process is a process in which energy is spent. This is a reduction reaction in which 2 molecules of phosphoglyceric acid undergoes reduction to form triose phosphate. Phosphoglyceric acid undergoes reduction to form triose phosphate. So in this process, energy is spent, that is ATP and NADPH is broken to give energy. NADPH is broken to give NADP plus electrons which are taken by for this reaction. Electrons are taken for this reaction. ATP is broken and ADP plus phosphate plus energy is released, which is taken for this process. So this is a reduction reaction in which phosphoglyceric acid is reduced to triose phosphate. 2 molecules of phosphoglyceric acid is undergoes reduction to form 2 molecules of triose phosphate, and both phosphoglyceric acid and triose phosphate are 3-carbon compound, and here it is an endothermic process because ATP and NADPH are utilized, they are broken. ATP it is broken to give energy and NADPH is broken to give electrons, and this is utilized for this reduction reaction. Third step of Kelvin cycle is regeneration in which triose phosphate it undergoes regeneration to form RUBP again. Triose phosphate it undergoes regeneration to form RUBP. Again here ATP is broken. ATP is energy of ATP is utilized. ATP is broken to form ADP plus phosphate plus energy, and this energy is used for this reaction. So to fix one molecule of carbon dioxide, if Kelvin cycle it takes one turn, or to fix one molecule of carbon dioxide, 3 ATP and 2 NADPH are utilized. To fix one molecule of carbon dioxide or one round of Kelvin cycle, 3 ATP molecules and 2 NADPH are utilized.